In the previous part of the lecture, we spoke about nested loops, and also we spoke about 3 versions of finding duplicates. So please make sure you review the insights about how you can play with the patterns for loop counters and how you can do early exit, checking universal versus existential properties. That's something you should really review before you move on. So now we are ready to talk about the more advanced data structure called two-dimensional arrays. So it's not really a new topic, it's just a more generalization of the semantics and also syntax for the one-dimensional arrays, which we spoke about intensively earlier. So the motivating example in the lecture, I try to make it correspond to the week number 10 tutorial videos. So I would say for this problem here, just about calculating distances between cities in a given itinerary. So it would be the same example that you actually study in week number 10 tutorial videos. Let me just emphasize, remind you again over here. So for week number 10 and week number 11, so week number 10 tutorial videos have been released. So that's something I would recommend you study first before you actually go over this part of the lecture, which will be just a very brief walkthrough or like a revisiting of the two-dimensional arrays syntax and semantics. So make sure you finish week number 10 carefully, and then later by March 26th, next week, we will also release week number 11 tutorial videos, which will speak more about the utility methods manipulating two-dimensional arrays. So these part of these will be corresponding to the 8 examples that you will see in the slides. I'll point that to you, but for this week we want to make it brief for you, so without too many repetitions. All right, anyway, so these are the 2 weeks of the tutorial videos, week number 10 and week number 11. Make sure you study them, and then you can supplement with some new information in the lecture slides. Let me go back to the slides. So for the rest of this video, I'll just briefly walk through the important information that you should really review from your week number 10 or week number 11 tutorial videos, and then that's it for this week, right? We don't have to go to the full 2 hours this week. We want to make it light for you. All right, that's a distance table, and then so the problem really is about calculating, for example, a particular trip itinerary over here, how we can calculate the distances between them and sum them up, right? And also, of course, you want to do some error checking to see if I pass any city, for example, Toronto, that's actually not defined as part of the rows or columns over here. So how can we do reporting of the errors? That's also something we spoke about in week number 10 tutorial videos, assuming that you have studied that already. Okay, and then, so that's really the problem here, and then you can go over the complete solution in your weekly tutorial number 10. And let me just mention once more. So it's really important to say this. Solving for many problems that can be solved by using a single two-dimensional array variable, you can also solve it using a multiple one-dimensional array variables over here. However, the problem really is about the design and also internal structure of your code, which I also illustrated in the tutorial videos about the repetitions that you actually result in your code. If you try to use several array variables, you have to check about the which city you're talking about, and then refer to the corresponding array and also to the corresponding index, right? It will result in lots of duplicates in your code. So you can see how we actually evolve from this version here to the improved version using a single two-dimensional variable, two-dimensional array variable. Okay. Right, one more thing to say. You can see here, I try to be a little bit light, try to simplify the scenario a little bit, but depending on how many cities that are actually defined in the table, you will need to have the correspondingly many single dimensional array variables. So that's really the key about the drawback for the first design without using the two-dimensional array. All right, so that's about how you can calculate it. You have seen this already, so I can just skip them. And then, so this is the same console application as I also walk you through in the tutorial videos. You can just review the slides just to see if there's any critical points you want to take notes on the slides. And then we talk about the source row and destination index, right? So that's also something you can review. That's exactly what we talk about. right? So that you can see that even the variable name is the same. The only difference is you can see here we say source versus destination. In the tutorial video, I simply say departure versus destination, essentially the same concept. Okay, and this really kind of sketches the kind of duplicates you will actually need to have if you actually use version 1a. But in version 1b, we try to resolve some of the duplicates using a helper method to really figure out the indices for the cities. You can also refer to version 1b in your tutorial videos for week 10. Okay, drawback is about so many possibilities to program. You can see here the 7 correspond to the size, like a dimension for the table, because you got 7 cities. Realistically, if you got some airline company, so how many cities can they support? I guess hundreds, if not thousands, maybe hundreds of cities. In that case, the table, the number of distinct arrays conditions you have to check will be so unmanageable, so infeasible to manage. Okay, so that's why you really want to move on to the single two-dimensional array variable solution, version number 2. Okay, and let's now, before we move on to version number 2, just about a basic syntax of two-dimensional arrays, which essentially is a generalization of one-dimensional array. I spoke about them in detail also in your week 10 tutorial video. Okay, two-dimensional array, that's visually is just like a table, right? You got rows over here. So the rows are the indices for the array, the single array in the first dimension. And the columns over here are the indices for arrays in the second dimension. And so this is more like a special case because you got the length of each row will just be the same, but it does not need to be the case. We'll see some example in just a moment. Okay, and that's the syntax of how you can do it. Okay, you can review what it really means for this particular syntax, right? You can see this part over here is really so the matrix over here, assuming that it's been declared already. So the first number here specify the row, the size of the first dimension, the number of rows. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And also 5 over here is about the number of columns in the second dimension. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In general, using the new keyword, it can give you a rectangular shape of the matrix. Of course, in this case, it's like a square, but rectangle shape in general. And then, so this is a more flexible way to initialize your array if you know exactly what to put. You can see here we got each row is actually a one-dimensional array. You can see this is the first row and second row, third row, and fourth row. So that's the resulting shape of the array. And we spoke about this also in the tutorial video, right? It's for now just a quick reminder. And then okay, let's see this. Okay, another way to do it is you can see once you create the array, and we spoke about this, it's going to every slot in the array. How many slots do we have? It's a 4x3 array, two-dimensional array, so that there will be 4 times 3, which will be 12 slots. Every slot there simply store the default value for integer, which is 0. Right? So that's something we also mentioned. And then you can individually reassign each element to some particular value. You can see it's kind of self-contained over here about what you should do. Okay. And then about the length of the array. You can think about, so this will be the recommended way to visualize the array. Let me remind you very quickly. So these refer to the iPad notes for your week number 10 Java tutorial video. So you can recall. So there are 2 ways to really visualize the two-dimensional arrays. Either you can draw the first dimension array horizontally, and then horizontally for all each array in the second dimension. But it would be better to really draw it this way, like what's shown in the slides. So you're basically drawing the first dimension array vertically, and then it's pretty much like a rows over here. Will give you indices to the rows. And then every array in the second dimension, the indices will just be like columns over here. Right? You can review how we visualize it in the tutorial video. Okay, and then if you say x.length is going to be how many rows you have, you can say x.length. In this case, will be 3. And then if you want to figure out individual what the size is for individual column, you would say x with particular index, either x0 for row number 1, x1 for row number 2, and x2 for row number 3. And then you can say, for example, x0.length. How many columns are there in this particular row? 1, 2, 3, 4. In this case, it's like a rectangular shape. So all the lengths are the same. However, it may not be the same in general. Let's see some example. Okay, so okay, let's see this one. It's simply called triangular array. You can see the first row got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got 5 columns over there. For the second row, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, and 2, and 1. That's exactly the visualization. Hopefully that makes sense, right? You can consider that what's really shown in the slides are exactly how I recommended you actually visualize the two-dimensional array. So I think that's the most intuitive way for you to solve problems on such data structure. Okay, and then let's now move on about how you can reassign different parts of the two-dimensional array. You can just remember the first integer expression you put is the index for the first dimension. So this will be the first dimension, the vertical one, right? Which row you're talking about, essentially. And also the second number here will be the index for the second dimension, the column number, essentially. So column 0, column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, and etc. Right? And then you can say, I want to reassign, for example, 2, 1. So 2 is here, and then 1 is here. I want to reassign that to 7. So that'll be the consequence. Okay, and then now let's move on to version number 2 for your mileage calculation example. So this is how we can declare the distances table. I try to define it in a slightly different way, in the sense that each row is named to a particular like from Boston, from Chicago, and then also from Miami, etc. You can look for another alternative in your tutorial videos. So just show you different ways of achieving the same thing. And then you also define the name constant over here to really make it convenient for you to refer to the table, to index into the table, right? So for example, you can say distances over here. The first dimension will be the row over here. So that will be the row. Okay, either row 0, row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4. For Miami, I forgot the exact index, but you can check. For example, Boston, you can see it's the row. It's actually column at index 1. So column at index 1 is actually here. So either of the row, you gotta do the intersection, right? But the most important learning outcome is really about once you declare the two-dimensional array table, how do you actually refer to individual elements by using 2 indices, one for the first dimension, the other one for the second dimension. Is really important. Okay. Let's now move on. Oh, by the way, if I just want to say I want to find out just a particular row, for example, if I want to find out this particular row, let's say, remember the very first one is from Chicago, right? If I want to find out the row, this particular row, all the distances from Chicago being the departure city, I'll simply say distances and then just pass the first dimension without the second dimension. Let's say if I put Chicago over here, in that case, it's going to give me an array of integer. That's also something we said in the tutorial videos, right? I want to emphasize that. All right. So for the rest of the slides, we actually got 8 examples. Well, number 8 is more like just about what you can achieve by implementing a game for tic-tac-toe. That's something you can think about. We don't have the detailed coding for that, but you might just do something very similar in your lab number 8 anyway. Okay, but for the rest of the 7 example in the slides, I'll try to do some or all of some of them, or most of them actually in your upcoming week number 11 Java tutorial videos. But I would say you may just want to go over the slides quickly to see for individual problem how you can solve it. So each one of them actually got a complete solution to you, but it's more like in a console application formats. In your week number 11 tutorial videos, I'll try to code them up more like a utility methods, just to show you different ways of manipulating the two-dimensional arrays. Okay, and you can go all the way to the end for example, all the way to example 9. Actually, for example 1 to example 8 will be with the complete coding, but for example 9, so this will be some tic-tac-toe game for you to think about, right? And then you'll do something similar in your lab number 8. All right, so that's about it for this week. I want to keep it around 1 hour. And then to really do well for the two-dimensional arrays, I would suggest follow through the all the details for your week number 10 and 11 tutorial videos. And then if there's any extra exercise I will assign to you, also try to do that. All right, take care, and I'll see you next week.